過ぎた季節が嘘だとしても重ねたぬくもりは嘘じゃない君が残した背中の傷跡は今もずっと甘くてだからずっと痛くて
Yo, what it do, guys? It's your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with another part of The Radiant Hero of Light and Darkness. This is Chapter 7, The Darkness of the Empire. So, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Back in the world of My Hero Academia, as Izuku is still continuing talking to Suguguchi, on the other wall, there are actually a couple other figures besides just, well, All Might and the police officers that were trying to get in at first when Izuku was explaining. With the first person being new as it being a woman looking like she's in her early 40s, with that of the same green-eyed hair as Izuku, and she's quite plump, wearing that of a long red shirt and a long blue skirt. Is this being the mother of Izuku Midoriya, Inko Midoriya, actually? With then she's saying, "That's him. I know that hair anywhere. I know that face anywhere. That's my baby. It's really him." With soon, All Might saying, "I thought so. You would know more than any of us, wouldn't you, Miss Suguguchi?" With Inko actually changed her name from Midoriya to Suguguchi, as she actually married Naomasa. As for the other new person, as it being that of a little girl, to be frank, actually. And she doesn't look any older than that of 4 or 5. And she has dark green-eyed hair, just like the same as Izuku, with that of twin pigtails, and wearing that of a tiny girl's All Might hoodie, with that of a yellow skirt, and little red shoes on her feet. As her eyes are not as bright green as her brother's, as they're a more darker shade of green, actually. And she doesn't have any freckles either. As the little girl saying, "Mommy, is that really my big brother you said that Daddy's been looking for?" With Inko saying, "Yes, Izumi, that's your brother. Your half-brother, actually." With back on the other side of the interrogation room, Izuku couldn't help but smirk a little bit and is saying, "So, I have a little sister and mom remarried. And Detective Suguguchi is actually my stepdad." Well, I shouldn't be too surprised, after all. Within Z saying, "Hey, Izu, you doing okay?" Saying, "Yeah, I'm fine, Z. Thanks for worrying." With soon, Naomasa saying, "Care to explain the rest?" With saying, "Sure? You don't need a break or anything like that? We've been at this for at least an hour or so. I've just been going by pretty quickly about my story, though." With saying, "Please continue. I think I need to know more." With Izuku saying, Okay. "Let me tell you about Vulchus, one of the most deplorable and most sickening countries I've been in. Well, I would call it at least number 1, but let's just say there's another country in Taoteis that's just as sick for allowing a certain person to do whatever the hell they want as well. But I'll get to that in due time. Any rate, let's explain Sophia and the Empire." Back to the flashback and recap. Izuku and his party members are following Sophia out of the slums of the Empire. with Izuku now getting a better feel of the place, realizing that this is where all of the poor people of the Empire stay at. Not only that, it's most likely on where all of the slaves live that don't live with their masters. With then Sophia looking at Izuku as he has that of a troubled and sad look on his face as he continues looking side to side and up and down. With Sophia saying, "Don't be too surprised, Sir Hero. This is just how it is for demonic humans such as myself. And not only that, but any slave of the Empire." With then Izuku saying, "You can't be serious. Even humans, elves, and dwarves live like this too?" With then, not frankly, only some. Some slaves do live here, mostly because most nobles don't want their slaves to live close nearby. They rather, if they look like they're workers, after all, to not make it seem like it's immoral, even though it is. With Izuku saying, "Damn it." But soon, Ymir grabbing Izuku's hand, as she can tell that he was trembling, with her saying, "It's okay, Izuku. It's okay to feel frustrated and angry at all of this. Even I feel the same way you do." With Izuku looking at Ymir and couldn't help but smile, saying, "Thanks, Ymir." But soon, Volio saying, "Care to explain where you're taking us, young lady?" With soon saying, "The outskirts of the city. There we'll be heading to the secret base on where our supposed ally is." With then Volio saying to Dorgan, whispering, "Hey, Dorgan, make sure you keep on guard. I still don't trust this woman just so easily. She must have some ulterior motive." With then Dorgan saying, "Well, I can't 100% agree with you there, but I will be on alert, as always." As Edward gets in the conversation saying, "I'll be prepared. Right now, Izuku's not in the right state of mind after dealing with the assassin, and currently walking through this place of all things." As Edward being that of disgusted. With then, they finally reach the end of the slums and heading back into the main district of the city. With then, they finally reached one of the exits out of the capital. Within soon, they began hearing somebody call for Izuku, saying, "Sir Hero Izuku! Sir Hero Izuku!" As Izuku hears his name, as they see a couple of people, as they look like that of holy figures, two being that of a pope and a priestess, and the other being that of a knight. However, Izuku is aware on who these people are, as they being that of, people from Crystallis. With Izuku saying, "Aren't you, people from Crystallis? What reason do you have to be here?" With the knight soon saying, "Sir Izuku, we have come from the Pope himself to actually get a field report from you. However, we're also to give you a message from him as well." With Izuku saying, "Oh, I see. Okay, tell me what you guys need." With then the knight soon becoming serious, saying, "Sir Izuku Midoriya, I, Pope Yagna of the Holy Republic of Crystallis, wish to give thanks for your deeds and what you have done for our citizens in dealing with the bandits and the demonic humans." With Izuku hearing that part, was feeling somewhat happy but down at the same time, as he thinks that the demonic humans were involved voluntarily. Within Pope Yang saying, "We also hear about your duties at Galio and taking down his champion and putting yourself up. We are also happy to know that you have taken the spot from that demonic human, Dexton." With also Izuku getting more and more pissed hearing that part as well. With then Izuku saying, please, can you get to the point? Oh, my apologies. Sorry, Sir Hero. You must be in a hurry. As he clears his throat, it soon says, well, Sir Hero, Pope Yagna wishes for you to return to Crystallis after you have finished your duties here at the Empire and focus on your training and getting stronger to defeat the demonic human army led by the Demon Lord, if that would be so kind of you. With hearing this, Izuku's eyes begin whitening, but then Edward saying, you can't be serious! That's bullshit! Izuku's entire plan isn't just to unite that of the Empire, Galio, or Crystallis. He's trying to unite all countries fighting against survival against the Demon Lord. Doesn't the Pope not realize that that was his original plan from the beginning? We even told him this in person. With then the knight saying, I understand that, young Master Lyric. But the hero must, but Izuku Midoriya, our hero must train stronger. The forces have already worked all together to defeat the Demon Lord. But the nations that refuse not to aid will have to defend for themselves. Wasting your time focusing on each country at a crisis like this is not needed and is not necessary. Within hearing that, Izuku's eyes began widening. Within Ymir saying, not necessary. Fixing the problems of each country is going through, then just sending soldiers to fight is not the best thing to do. And not only that, Izuku needs help. He needs more party members. We just got Dorgan on our team. With Dorgan saying hello, as he soon walks over to the priest lady, saying, it's a pleasure to meet you, my lady. As he grabs her hand and kisses it. With then Volio saying, it's growing, but as time goes on, Izuku will be the one to trust his party members. He has to be the one to choose them, not the other way around. With then Izuku saying, yeah, that's right. And besides, I realized something. Within the night, looking at the short green-net boy, as his wild banes were covering his eyes. Within the night saying, what is it, Sir Hero? Crystallis has kept quite a bit from me to make me their innocent little puppet. Isn't that right? Within the knight's eyes began whining, saying, Sir Hero, I know the truth. I know the real reason on why demonic humans are going to war with all the races. The real truth is because they're treated as that of slaves and monsters, even though they're just as human as the rest of us. Within hearing this, everyone around Izuku that wasn't part of his party or Sophia were actually surprised, and some were actually skeptic of Izuku's words, with even the people from Crystallis, such as the knight, saying, Sir Hero, you're being hysterical. Everyone knows demonic humans. They're just as human as the rest of us, all with different features. All because they're originally from the Demon King, the original evil. Just because people come from evil doesn't mean they are evil. What the actual hell is wrong with you people? With then the knight saying, please, Sir Hero, calm down. You're being hysterical. Hysterical? How the hell am I crazy? Damn it. I thought for sure that what I was doing was right. That believing that all demonic humans were evil and only seeking destruction as well. But I realized the truth. I realized the real truth on why demonic humans are who they are now. Because this world treats them like they're nothing but animals. Treats them like they're slaves. With that, everybody was shocked and surprised that he's actually acknowledging something that they never thought was true, with many people whispering and many people freaking out, with a few nobles that are actually in the area with their, slaves actually getting somewhat shocked and surprised. But soon after knowledge of Izuku's things that he did in Galio were actually starting to reach the ears of all the other nations. With then Izuku saying, I'm done with Crystallis. I'm going to do things my way. I don't care if you see me as a rogue person or see me as a hypocrite or even see me as a fallen hero. I don't care. I'm going to save everybody. All the innocent people that need to be saved. That's what matters. That's what a hero does. Protects everybody, no matter what. After saying that, Izuku soon leaves from the people from Crystallis as he walks out of the capital with Sophia. Within Sophia looking at Izuku as her eyes begin whining, and she also had a blush on her face with looking at Izuku walk off, with her soon thinking to herself, I thought this hero was nothing but wet behind his ears. And personally, I thought he was nothing but that of a lapdog of the Seraphim Faithful. But instead, he really does care about demonic humans. He really is worried and wanting to put an end to everything. I guess that's why he sent all the Empire's nobles from Galio and forbid anyone from there to ever come back. Sure, what he's did is also put the country in economic crisis, but he said that they would try and change that and try to change the emperor. This kid is really optimistic and really trying to make things better, even if things have to get worse at first. He really is something else. As she puts her hands together close to her ample chest and feeling like he may be a kid, but I think I might be falling for him. With then everyone else follows Izuku, but then Sophia walking up next to Izuku, but then Izuku realizing that it's Sophia and begins blushing as she's saying, so, care to follow me, little hero? With Izuku saying, can you please stop calling me that? It's really embarrassing. With soon her smiling saying, sure, what would you like me to call you? With Izuku saying, just call me Izuku or Midoriya, because Midoriya is my last name. But then Sophia saying, oh, really? Well then, how do I call you Midori? Do you like that? With Izuku saying, that's just fine, but still embarrassing. With her soon having that of a small giggle, as it being somewhat seductive, but cute at the same time. Within Ymir looking at the interaction between Izuku and Sophia, as the 15-year-old girl couldn't help but get somewhat pissed as she channels flames in her left hand, with then Edward saying, come on, Sophia, calm down. You know Izuku. He's pretty nervous when he's around new girls. With then Sophia saying, he isn't like that around me. With then Volio saying, of course not. You've been close to him for literally 2 to 3 years. You really think he's going to act nervous around you? With then Ymir slumped down saying, just shut up, everyone. With then Edward patting her on the back, basically trying to comfort her. With then, as they reach farther and farther from the capital, they soon see that of an abandoned house. As they reach inside, there's tons of cobwebs and tons of insects everywhere. With then Edward soon making a comment saying, so where the hell is this? And why the hell are we out here? Thought you said that we're meeting your ally. With then she turning to the others, with then Izuku getting on guard somewhat with everyone else as well, saying, don't be so dramatic. Just give me a minute. As she walks to the old fireplace, and then places her hand across a couple of bricks as she puts it in a pattern. As then the floors beneath beneath them begins to open up, leading to that of a staircase. With soon, she channeling fire through her fingers. With then she's saying, "So, you guys coming?" With then walking down the staircase, with everybody else looking at each other, before both Izuku and Ymir, alongside Dorgan, began using their own light source as well, with Izuku using his light magic, Ymir using both her light and fire magic, and Dorgan using a little bit of using his, light magic as well. With then Izuku saying, "So you guys have a secret base down here?" Saying, "Well, somewhat. It's actually a secret location for a lot of people. A lot of people who've been needing a place to stay for the time being." With Izuku saying, "What do you..." As they reach further and further into the corridor, as they now see open light, where they see that of an old abandoned city, but with tons of people, being that of lively and that of happy in some ways. With then Sophia soon saying, "Hero party, welcome to Devil Town," as everyone is at awe, with them reaching lower floors through the city as they go through the main streets, where everyone around them is actually demonic humans or bestial humans, and a few of them being that of humans, elves, and dwarves as well. With Izuku saying, "Why are there so many other people here? Honestly, it reminds me a lot of Galio." With then Sophia soon explaining Izuku's question, as she's saying, "Well, that's because many of these people are actually freed slaves." With Izuku and everyone's eyes being widening, with Dorgan saying, "Freed slaves? I don't believe it." "Well, believe it, dwarf elf." And Sophia says this with that of retort. "These are all men, women, and children, all free by my comrades and I. We've been trying our best to save and help as many people get back to their homelands as much as possible. We were able to get some of the people to their countries. However, due to a certain hero's actions that's basically kept the warrior kingdom of Galio now that's of an isolated kingdom before things get crazy, we now can't, send the people back until things are actually taken care of." Within Izuku hearing this and begins laughing and chuckling somewhat softly to himself, saying, "Sorry." Within Sophia couldn't help but smile, saying, "It's okay. You did what you thought was right, and personally I think you did what was right. Lately, the Empire's soldiers, especially their, Black Brigade, has been cracking down on the town lately, especially on people who've been trying to flee back to their home countries. So, to be honest, what you did was the right thing to do. Making sure that these people are safe to get back to their homelands is more important than trying to get them back in a hurry." Within, Izuku couldn't help but smile at the compliment. With then Volio saying, "It's hard. So that's why you were so adamant on trying to save those kids from the bandits. You were trying to get them here." With then Sophia saying, "Yep, that's the truth. Those kids won't be able to get back to their homelands given that they were sold into slavery after all. So there's no point in basically trying to get them back home. But even so, at least they can have a normal life down here. It's not much, but at least they'll be alive to actually enjoy it. We're also trying our best to make sure that they overcome the trauma that they felt." With then Izuku saying, "Sophia, at first I thought you were kind of scary, but to be honest, you're really nice and kind. I'm glad that I met somebody like you." Within, Sophia couldn't help but have her heart being squeezed by Izuku's smile and kind words. With then saying, "You're so adorable, Midori." with Izuku blushing as well. It say, thank you, with Ymir getting jealous once again, with both Volio and Ed trying to calm her down, as they soon reach that of a somewhat abandoned tavern, but trying its best to be built right back up. As they enter inside, they already see that tons of people are trying their best to enjoy the night, with then Izuku and the others head to the bar, with then one of the bartenders being that of a bestial human, basically a cat girl, saying, "Hey, Soph, I guess this is the hero, right?" With Sophia saying, "Yep, this is Izuku Midori and his party. We're here to see the boss. Is he in the back?" With saying, "Yep, been waiting for you quite a bit. And not only that, he's also really worried on how you guys have survived. If anyone didn't, well," with then Edward saying, "Hey, we're all alive here. What the hell is all that about?" With soon the cat girl couldn't help but say, "Oh, sorry." With Ed feeling somewhat, bad on what he said, saying, sorry, just a little off key. Just, why did you not think that any of us would be alive?" With then Sophia saying, "What are you talking about? You guys fought against the Inquisitor after all." Within mentioning that name, everybody that was rowdy and trying to enjoy themselves were all quiet, looking at Izuku and his party, with Izuku saying, "Who's the Inquisitor?" With soon Sophia saying, "It's not best if I tell you. The boss will tell you instead. Come on." With then reaching the back of the bar and then heading into a back room, where soon it actually is an elevator lowering down, but only has that of 3 floors, that being the top floor, the middle floor, and the bottom floor. As they reach that of the bottom floor, where they see that of a giant meeting room with a map of the Empire and another map of Taoteis, with Izuku soon saying, "Whoa, is this like a base of operations?" With Sophia saying, "Yep, that's exactly what this is. This is where we basically send our comrades to take care of caravans of slaves leading to the Empire, and we attack them to free them and get them out. But because of that, we are able to do as much as we can to save people from the suffering of slavery. But there are times we aren't able to help the people, and some caravans do slip into the slave market. But even so, we do our best to help as much as we can." With then Izuku saying, "Wow, you guys are like heroes of justice of the shadows. Like vigilantes, if I recall. That's what they're called. That's what underground heroes are called in my world." With Sophia saying, "Vigilantes. I like the name of that. But unfortunately, we already have a name though." With then, as they finally reach down, with Izuku asking, "What's the name?" "The Liberators." As it wasn't Sophia said this name, it was a man, a tan-skinned man, wearing that of somewhat noble attire, but that of a fighter, a warrior, as his armor is more silver colored, with that of a half of a cape on his back, as the man has that of tan skin and silver hair. With then Izuku saying, "Can I help you?" With saying, "Oh, Midori, this is the boss of the Liberators." With then Dorgan looks at the man saying, "Holy shit, you cannot be serious." With both Ymir and Edward looking at their barred friend, with Ymir saying, "Dorgan, you know this guy?" With Dorgan saying, "Know him? How can not anyone not know who he is? This is the current crown prince of the empire, Marshal Rayhard Volchis, with everyone looking at the tan-skinned boy, as he couldn't help but have that of a embarrassed and somewhat, well, pretty innocent smile, as he looks like he's at least in his early 20s, same around that of Dorgan and Sophia as well. With then Ed Volio saying, "Well, I'll be damned. Last time I seen this kid, he was still at least around in his early teens. And now look at him." With Ed Marshall saying, "Yeah, I guess it has been a while, former champion Volio." With Izuku saying, "Oh, Your Majesty, I..." With then Marshall saying, "None of that, Sir Hero. You have no reason to bow yourself to me like you... I'm pretty sure you did the same to my worthless piece of shit of a father." With Izuku saying, "Wow, that's quite a bit of hatred you have for your father." With then Marshall looks back saying, "You have no idea, Sir Hero. But let me give you the rundown on certain things that's been going on." With then everyone follows the prince alongside Sophia as they reach that of a chamber rooms that had a desk and a chair with tons of, well, reports and also weapons as well. With on the back showing that of a flag with chains severed. With then a marshal saying, "Now, many of you have questions on the Empire and wondering on why you were almost killed." With then Izuku saying, "Yeah, what just happened? Why were we attempted to be killed by that of a dark elf? Not only that, the dark elf was somewhat close to my age. What's going on?" With then the marshal looks down saying, "My apologies. It seems ever since your, well, stunt in Galio, the Empire has been quite unrest, especially not only the truth that many nobles have been kidnapping slaves in the kingdom. Due to this, some people have been, well, calling for blood, mostly for your blood. But then there are some people, being the common people, who are also disgusted of the actions of the nobility, and they want the people to stop such cruelty, for as slavery is only made for those who have to pay back their debts. That was the originality of the Empire, especially on what they told Crystallis." With then Izuku saying, "Wait, you're serious? The Empire's slavery system was only made for people to pay back their debts?" With Marshall nodding. "However, there are tons of loopholes, and as the years went by, centuries, that the slave system began to change. It began to become more monopolized, more of a way for people to gain any type of money, and especially for bandits, and that of nobility and even soldiers as well. Due to bandits stealing people from their villages or towns, nobles purchasing people by causing commoners to go through debt and years of bankruptcy, and also soldiers basically kidnapping their enemies on the battlefield and bringing them back to the Empire. Even innocent demonic humans who don't even want to get involved in the war, but yet are forced into it due to years and years of hatred and suffering, and also due to the Seraphim Faithful's persecution of demonic humans." Within hearing this, Izuku was surprised and shocked, saying, "So that's the entirety of the Empire's slave system? All because people want to make quick bucks? All because it's easier to basically buy slaves than doing stuff themselves? That's their reasoning? With then Edward saying, I think it's more than that, Izuku. Isn't it, Your Highness? With then Marshall soon nods his head saying, yes, there is more. Due to the Empire's current, hugeness and mostly composed of tons of kingdoms and countries that have been taken over, the Empire needs slave labor to continue keeping the Empire going. Without slaves, they could say that the Empire's economy would dip down all the way to 90%. And that's not even the worst part. Given the slaves that would be free, many of them would want to return back to their country and homeland. And not only that, some would also want to rebel and and have vengeance. But I have made a solution for that. The Empire has always relied on slave labor. Because of that, we have a huge finite of gold and taxes. If we can give more, we'll be able to supply tons of people money and finances. Not only that, we can even offer our magic technology to all the other countries that need it. I'm pretty sure you've seen the monorail system. He's saying, yeah, it's somewhat similar to my world, but a lot more older, to be honest. With Marshall saying, yes, it's good to hear. But with that technology, we'd be able to revolutionize travel across cities and towns a lot more easier. Wouldn't you say? With Izuku thinking to himself, yeah, I think so as well. Marshall couldn't help but smile, before that smile turned into a frown of anger. However, there's only one problem standing in our way of progress, that being my father and the current corrupt and self-centered nobility. Izuku and his party couldn't help but get pissed. But then Ymir saying, so you're willing to turn on your own father for change? Why not talk to him? I mean, he is your father. But then Marshall saying, are you serious? I tried talking to my father multiple times. The Emperor cares more about lining his goddamn pockets and doesn't give a shit about the people. That fat son of a bitch cares more about trying to uphold the Empire. Not only that, once the demonic humans and the demon lord is taken care of, he already plans on invading Galio and also Elysium as well. Plus, in a couple years from now, he also plans on trying to take down Crystallis and making the religion bow before him, trying to make them forget about the goddess themselves, and also try to turn every single one of them into slaves. Then Izuku saying, you can't be serious. Plus, he plans on attacking the other kingdom that could rival the Empire as well, besides the Demon Lord's territories. That being the newest kingdom, the newest country actually, Notsuda. With Izuku saying, Notsuda? Huh. Well, if that's... Well, we were planning on going to Notsuda after we take care of the Empire and Elysium. So, now we have a reason to take on the Emperor. But to be honest, there has to be another reason on why you're so determined to take him down, besides just trying to save all the slave people in the Empire. Within, Marshall saying, I will tell you, but in due time. Right now, our main priority is to take down the major assets of the slave economy of the Empire. And that being these 3 locations. As Izuku and his party look at 3 locations circled around the Empire, as it one being that of a trade route, one being that of a noble territory, and the other being that of a fortress. Looking at the locations, Dorgan saying, oh, I've seen these places before. With Ymir looking at Dorgan saying, you have? Saying, yes, I was originally a citizen of the Empire before my family moved to Crystallis, after all. But that was when I was a child, though. With then Edward looking at Dorian saying, "Wait, you were originally from the Empire? Born in the Empire. But I'm originally from Crystallis, though. But to be honest, I go where the wind takes me. That's where I belong." With then everybody looking at Dorian with a sweat drop. With then Dorian soon getting back to attention, saying, "But I do remember these places a little while when I was first starting out as an adventurer. This place is basically a major trade route. It's where tons of countries can go line to show their products and go to the markets. But it's also but under it, there's a huge underground trade route that trades slaves, though." With soon, Sophia looks at Dorian saying, "Wow, surprising coming from you." With Dorian saying, I have my sources as well. I like to keep informed of certain things that could be useful." Within, Volio couldn't help but smile at his comrade. Within, he looks at one of the other locations with him saying, "I know this place, this fortress. It's called the Birdcage. It's one of the 3 major fortresses that, well, keeps the demonic humans at bay from invading the Empire." With then Marshall saying, "You know your thing, Sir Volio." Saying, I've been at the fortress from time to time, and besides it being one of the locations of defense for the Empire, it's also one of the biggest trade routes to keeping all new slaves captured by the Empire, and to make sure, and before being sent off to the Empire's underground slave market. Am I right?" With everybody looking at Volio, with Izuku saying, "You know quite a bit, Sensei." Saying, "As a leader, you gotta know stuff. And as an adventurer, I keep myself quite informed. How do you think I was able to find your ass, after all, when I knew that you were being summoned, Izuku?" With Izuku couldn't help but smile at his sensei after that comment. With then, next up is the plant is a noble domain. With Sophia soon explaining, this is Duchess Lumine's plantation. This is where they mostly train slaves to be behaved and for the time being, before sending them off to the underground slave market as well. It takes mostly years to break them of their will and making them submissive and ordering them, basically forcing them to become what the Empire wants them to be, either a tool, a weapon, or a plaything. Within, everybody begins getting somewhat sickened and angry at what Sophia began explaining. With that, if they take care of the plantation, it will make it easier to hit major blows to the Empire. But there's only another problem as well, as it being that of the Inquisitor, as they show a picture of the same dark elf that tried to kill Izuku and his team, but mostly Izuku. As soon, Izuku saying, "The Inquisitor, who is he really?" Edward making a comment saying, "Yeah, the guy was really dead set on trying to kill Izuku. Why the hell would a dark elf like him try to kill the hero? That caused quite a bit of a problem at that." With then Marshall saying, "That's because the Inquisitor is the tool of the Emperor. The Emperor orders a special type of slave to be used as his hidden dagger to kill anyone that gets in his way. To be honest, he hasn't used them in a couple of years or so due to the demonic humans. And he knows if he sends him to the Demon Lord, he's not going to get him back anytime soon. Either if he dies or if he runs off. But even so, he now uses the Inquisitor as that of a personal assassin to kill any of the Liberator members who plan on freeing slaves nowadays. Lately, it's been hard for us to, well, make sure to save people. We've lost quite a bit of our own members to the Inquisitor's blade, with everyone feeling somewhat down. With then Izuku saying, the Inquisitor, is he doing this on his free will? I mean, I know he's a slave, but does he want to kill? With then Marcus looks at Izuku, as Izuku had that of a conviction look, of that of dedication and will. With then Marshall saying, no, it's most likely he's being forced into this because he's a slave after all. No Inquisitor wants to be used as that of a pawn, as that of a murderer, especially somebody as young as him. But then Izuku saying, I see. Well, it's now more of a reason to try and save him, right? With everybody looking at Izuku, but then Dorgan saying, Izuku, you do know what you're trying to ask here. You want to save the Inquisitor, the very person who tried to kill you. With Ymir commenting saying, yeah, you nearly died if we weren't there. Don't you think if he needs to be taken care of? With Izuku saying, I understand what you're saying, guys, but he's also a slave. He's also being forced to try to kill me. If we save him by defeating the Emperor, then we'll free him from his pain. We'll free him from the burden of having to kill. Isn't that good enough? With then everybody looking at the green-eyed boy, with Sophia smiling saying, you really are something else, kid. I really like that. With then Marshall saying, no other person would have thought of trying to save the Inquisitor. Many people believe that he's too far gone, depending on how they're trained. But seeing this, I believe that you may have a chance to save the young man, the young dark elf Inquisitor. With Izuku saying, thank you, sir. We'll take care of these plantations. We'll make sure to get you guys an opening that you need to take him down. There's most likely we'll run into the Inquisitor, and we'll do what we can to save him from his pain. With that, Sophia couldn't help but smile, and then looking at Izuku, saying, hey, you're a hero, right? That means you get to choose on people that you can be part of your party, right? Isn't that the rule? With Izuku blushing, saying, yeah? Do you? Yeah, I want to be part of your party. I want to help you with my... Besides, you're going to need somebody to get you into each and every location without being spotted. So, do you want my help? With everybody... With looking at his party members, as Volio basically shrugs his shoulders, telling Izuku that it's his choice, with Edward basically putting up a thumbs up, saying, whoever you choose, we'll invite them with open arms. As he looks at Dorgan, as him basically shaking his arms up and down, saying, do it, do it, do it. With then looking at Ymir, saying, I will never forgive you if you do. With having so many mixed, results, it's up to Izuku. Within him saying, well, it would be easier to get these missions done with. And I could just get rid of her soon after. But, to be honest, I can tell there's something about her. It's up to her if she wants to stay or not, though. After thinking this, he soon sends a party invitation to Sophia. As Sophia sees the invitation, icon in her face, she soon accepts, with now she being part of the party. As she soon walks up to Izuku, saying, it's truly an honor to be part of your party, Midori. I'm looking forward to helping you and saving the Empire. With Izuku blushing, but soon knocking it off, with having that of a serious, determined smile on his face, saying, likewise, Sophia. With now, it's time to put an end to the Empire. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to read them. And also, next chapter, I'm basically skipping over tons of, well, explanations for each of the raids, to be honest, because I want to get to Izuku's next party member and the major climax of dealing with the Empire as well. So yeah, at any rate, with all that said, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, and Patreon. So, with all that said, this is Leamuki, signing out. Later, guys, and take care.